sardius, topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets, those are percussion instruments, tabrets like a tambourine, and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created till iniquity was found in thee. Notice that it says the workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created. The devil knows music. He knows how to use music. He knows how to make music his version of power. And it has... Why would a church do this? Why would a church... And they can say, well, we're just trying to get people who already... They're trying to draw a crowd with the devil to teach them Jesus. Can't do that. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 14 says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Here we go. Here's supposed to be the church, and here's supposed to be the harlot. And Paul is saying this cannot go along with this. They don't get along. They're not supposed to get along together very well. By the way, when something clean touches something dirty, something clean doesn't make something dirty clean. Something dirty makes something clean dirty. That's how it is. That's how it's going on in the church. The faithful city is becoming a harlot. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness? For what fellowship hath the Christian church with the Rolling Stones? What communion hath light with darkness? What concord hath Christ with Belial? You know, Mr. D. Hope you guessed my name. What part hath he that believeth with an infidel? That's the Rolling Stones. And what agreement hath the temple of God? See, they brought it right into the church. What agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God, as God has said, I will. And that phrase, temple of the living God, goes exactly to the idea we find in 1 Corinthians, where the temple of the living God is the body, and it should not be adulterated. There should not be fornication going on. But I'm telling you that there is. Now, a few years ago, I think it was in the video of the Emerging Church. I don't remember. We featured this guy, Perry Noble, pastor of one of these mega churches. He's trying to look cool to everybody, and he's being inflammatory up on the stage. And oh, by the way, his church is actually playing the music from AC/DC called Hell's Bells. They're playing the song from AC/DC. Hell's Bells. You ought to go look at the lyrics of this song. That's what they were playing in his church. And if you remember, Perry Noble got angry at people who would question his use of this song, saying, if you question this, you need to get right with God. You're not right with God if you go against me using this music. Something's not right with this guy. Now somebody sent me a video clip. Pastor Mike, take a look at this. I'm going to play you a clip. Okay? I'm not going to repeat what he said. I just don't like using this kind of language. But he uses... In fact, he's going on a tirade here. He's angry at people that are coming in late for church. Okay, he's really put out by these people, especially the ones who come to him and say, Pastor, the reason why we come in late is that we don't like the music. When they say that to him, listen. He describes. You know how he describes his church services. His church services he describes as PG-13. That's why he doesn't allow 6th graders and under even into the sanctuary of his church, because he's going to be saying things that are not for those kids. Folks, that is unscriptural. It's unbiblical. Suffer the little children to come unto me and forbid them not, for of such is the kingdom of heaven. And if they can't come, listen, if you're in a church service and you can't bring your kids, even your 5th grade kids, into the church service, you're in the wrong church. You're in the wrong place. But he describes his church services as PG-13. He uses an expletive that you ought not use. You'll hear it. And then listen how he describes what he thinks of people that don't like him playing hell's bells in his church. Listen to what he said. He curses them in a vulgar manner. Listen to him.
Question number 4, this is the deepest and most theological. Question number 4 is this: why can't my kids come into the service? Why can't my kids come into the service? For those of you here in Columbia or watching online, we have a part of our vision is 6th grade and up can come into the service. Because would you agree that we have PG-13 services? And I get letters from middle school moms all the time. My kid heard about this. I'm like, oh, do you have internet in your house? Holy crap. And so whatever. Can you imagine the emails that we'd get from the 2nd grade mom? I mean, oh my God, the 2nd grade dads. It would just get bad. Now we've had some people say this: well, the reason I'm not at church on time is because... And they think they're doing me a favor by telling me this. See, Pastor, I like your preaching. I just don't like the music we do. I just don't really like the music, and so, because it's not my style, you know what I'm saying? So because the music's not my style, I'm not getting to church on time, and I'm not getting there for the music, I'm getting there for the preaching. What do you think about that? Let me just tell everybody on every campus what I think about that. I think that you officially suck as a human being if that's your focus. I think that you officially suck as a human being if that's your focus. Are we tracking?
That phrase, you blank as a human being. See, I remember the old days. I remember that phrase being thrown about, and it just didn't say you blank. It said you blank something. I'm not even going to talk about it. I can't even say what it is. I know what the term... I don't like the term. I don't let my family use it. I hear people who probably don't know any better. They just got used to saying it, and I say, you know, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't think that's right. This pastor not only justifies the use of playing hell's bells on the stage, he curses people in a vulgar way. When they question him on something's not right about this. A lot of people have written to me, have talked to me, and they said, Pastor, we had legitimate concerns about things that were going on in church. When we tried to address them with our pastor, his visage changed. One lady told me, she said, I saw his face change. No, he wasn't a shapeshifter. The spirit that was on him showed forth in his demeanor, in his face, in his visage. Anger, vileness coming out at questioning the wrongness of what was going on inside their church. Many of you have experienced this. Psalm chapter 5, verse 9. The Bible says, for there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Stop and think about it. What used to be the faithful city now has become a harlot. Faithful people talk one way. Harlots talk another. Harlots use language and words that are always seem to be drawn to fornication or adultery somehow, some way. Something dirty. Because for there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward part is very wickedness. Their throat is an open sepulcher. Jesus used that phrase to describe the Pharisees in Matthew chapter 23. And they flatter with their tongue. They'll tell you what you want to hear. Just like a harlot will. A harlot never takes a guy that has a lot of money and says, you're way too ugly for me. They never do that. They will tell you what you want to hear. They flatter with their tongue, but they're full of deadness. Psalm 10, verse 7. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. If he curses, that means you can't believe anything else that he says. Under his tongue, which means it's hidden, is mischief and vanity. Psalm 19, verse 14. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable, not in the sight of human beings, not in the sight of the world, but in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. Psalm 40, verse 3, he hath put a new song. A new song. AC/DC, the Rolling Stones, all this other junk, that's not the new song. Okay, it represents a paradigm shift, but it's not the new song. See, what happens is when you get right with God, all of a sudden your musical taste, you start listening now to the lyrics, and you start listening to music that you used to listen to, and you're going, boy, I got a new spirit in me, and that spirit says, maybe I ought not be doing this, maybe I ought not be listening to this. Listen to what the Holy Ghost is telling you, people. When you get right with God, you get a new song. You get a brand new one. And it's not the same as the old stuff that you used to listen to. So why should we bring into the faithful city the songs of a harlot? Why should we do that? Because the songs of a harlot are alluring. And that's why, and if they justify this music, that's why they justify it. They say, well, we're trying to bring people in. It's enticing. It's alluring. And you'll never see that in the Scriptures as a model for how we're to bring people to the Lord. You're never to entice them. You're never to allure them. Those are words used to describe the spirit of the harlot, the whore, the adulterer. James chapter 3, verse 9, we mentioned this a while ago. Therewith bless we God, even the Father. Therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceedeth blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. Doth a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries, either of vine figs? So no fountain both yield salt water and fresh. James says you can't do it. You can't bless God and curse men, and that's what he did. He cursed the people who were saying, we don't like the music. He said, curse you, is what he said. Let me bring this poster back up again for the vodka. The woman riding the beast, sitting in a lascivious manner, and she's full of drunkenness and all this and that and the other. Should this be the poster for Bethel Church? Okay? Should we use that for, to advertise our church? No. That same spirit, though, is used in marketing and in advertising. Here's a, man, I hate to even show this. East Lake Growth Groups. Notice the three waves of their logo. East Lake Community Church. Their phrase is tap into it. You know what that means, don't you? In fact, you'll see what it means. There's actually a clip of a guy holding a stein of beer, alcohol. I'm going to show you just a small portion of this video, of the advertisement that this church is using to market its new growth groups. Along with the beer, look at the lasciviousness, transgenderism, marketing this church's Bible study. Take a look. This next clip, I won't show. I have the clip. I won't show it, but I'm going to show you the title of a new. I guess it's a sermon series or something like that. It is called Grace Gone Wild. Now, I'm even ashamed to even know what this is. You watch late night television, and this is, I don't even know if it's on anymore, but late night television used to be full of infomercials advertising pornographic videos called Girls Gone Wild. An entire 30-minute segment, Girls Gone Wild. Girls exposing themselves and being lascivious and all this stuff. That's what that is, and you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. So a church, in whatever thinking